Hey, what's up guys, Matt with the Movement System. I'm here with Adolfo at Invictus Performance here in Las Vegas to show you guys how to strengthen your hip flexor the right way. We're gonna talk about 4 things you need to think about when you're choosing hip flexor exercises, and we're gonna show you a bunch of exercises to meet your individual goals. Let's go ahead and dive into it. All right, so to start off, you may have seen an exercise like this where you're sitting on the ground and lifting your leg up straight. Adolfo will show you this exercise that you may have seen on Instagram. So you might see like a kettlebell placed here and lifting the leg up and over. This is a good exercise for strengthening the hip flexor in a really shortened position, but it's not necessarily the best exercise for getting strength through full range of motion. So what this exercise looks like is driving the toe up towards about this point and then back down. And what you can see here is pretty quick, he's gonna get a good strong contraction in the quad and a bit of a cramp maybe even in the quad. This is a good exercise for a shortened position, but for soccer players and athletes who wanna sprint, we're gonna show you a different variation that might be a bit more effective here. So let's hop up to the box here and we'll show you what this exercise looks like. If you have a kettlebell, you can hook a kettlebell right over your toe and do this pretty easily. We don't have a kettlebell, but we're gonna do a band and a dumbbell here. And we're gonna have Adolfo sit right here on the edge of the box. So yeah, right there. And bring one knee into the chest and lean back. So what this is gonna do is it's going to tilt the hips back into a posterior pelvic tilt. So that way whenever he can bend the knee here and let the toe hang down, his hip flexor is gonna be really lengthened in this position. So what I'm gonna do here is hook up this dumbbell around the foot, boom, just like that. And then what we're gonna have him do is drive the knee slow and controlled up to about where he touches my hand. So go ahead and lift the knee up and then back down. So nice and slow and controlled, give me like 10 reps like that. What you can see here is we're strengthening the hip flexor in an extended position. Over time, you even wanna get better with this where you're increasing your mobility so you can get beyond neutral and reach that dumbbell all the way to the ground and then slow and controlled lift back up. You don't wanna go all the way to the top because the resistance really only gives you good range of motion from about here to here, but we're gonna show you some other exercises as well to add to this. So the benefit of this exercise, we're not gonna get that active insufficiency that we get with a really shortened position where we're just strengthening the top range of motion. We're going to be strengthening in that extended hip position, just like the leg swing of soccer or just like the leg drive when we're sprinting. And that's going to be really specific for athletes. So we want to build that strength in the lengthened position. We're gonna show you a couple things on the position of this exercise to make sure you're doing it the right way. What we wanna see is that the back isn't hugely arched up and we really shouldn't be able to put our hand all the way through. So we're gonna really coach Adolfo here to use his abs, bring that back down towards the ground a little bit so it's closer to flat on the ground and not arched up too much. Also, if we look from this perspective, we want to make sure this leg isn't coming out to the side like this. A lot of times the leg will naturally want to come out to the side like this, and we might feel more of the adductor working in this exercise rather than the hip flexor. So what we want to do is make sure that our knees are forward like they're on railroad tracks. So for Adolfo here, I'm going to kind of put him in that position, and we want that knee stacked over the foot and then that knee in a line with the hip and the shoulder. So once everything is in a line like this, that's when we can start to go through that full range of motion, bringing the knee up and then bringing the knee back down. If you need to do this unloaded to practice before you add that dumbbell, totally fine. All right, so that's a good exercise for strengthening in that extended position, but it's a little bit slow. So the third thing you want to work on is strengthening and activating with faster speed. And this is going to be specific to athletes. Let's show you how to do that here. All right, so our setup here for this speed-based hip flexor exercise is like this. We're gonna attach a band to something low. In this case, we're using the crossbar of a goal, but you can attach it to anything low like a squat rack. And then what we're gonna do is have that band with a little bit of tension here in this back position, just like where you would be if you were running. But now we're going to quickly drive this foot forward past the other foot, just like we're sprinting. So let's see it, Adolfo. Boom, drive that leg forward. So we're gonna be at a slightly inclined back angle here, just like we're in the acceleration phase of sprinting in the first few steps out of the block. Let's see a couple reps here. A common mistake with sprinting is too high of a leg drive when we're early on accelerating. When we're accelerating, we wanna be fast and efficient and close to the ground. So this exercise replicates the specific joint angles and speed of that. Now this is very specific to the acceleration phase of sprinting, but as you get closer to max velocity, your leg mechanics and your leg drive is going to be a bit higher and more cyclical. Also, if you're someone like a high jumper or someone doing vertical jump, or something like that where we're gonna actually need to explode upward, we might need to stretch our hip flexor and strengthen it in a different way. We're gonna show you that variation next. You want a pull or something to hold on to, so that way this isn't a balance exercise and it's still more of a strength stimulus. So we're gonna give Adolfo a pull here, and then what we're gonna do now is drive the knee up into the air. So now we're going all the way from a hip extended position up into a shortened position with the knee up. Let's see it. Boom. There we go. So what we want to do is practice this one, driving the knee all the way up, activating that hip flexor from an extended position all the way to a shortened position. We can start with the pull here for balance, and then if we want to, we can even progress to getting up onto the ball of the foot of the other leg and really driving that triple extension here. This will be more specific again to jumping mechanics and max velocity sprinting mechanics. And then over time, if you do get really good at this, you can work on improving your balance enough that you can use that reciprocal arm action here and stabilize on that top leg. And then if you're at home or you're just not making it to the gym and don't have that setup with the squat rack and the band attached to the ground, you could do this with a loop band that you can just get on Amazon. I have these linked in my Amazon store. If you want to do it this way, what you can do is just drive the knee up on one leg and keep the other foot planted down. So what that looks like here is just driving one knee up like that, holding for a second or two, and then slowly lowering back down. Drive the leg up, hold for a second or two, and then slowly lower back down. If you're doing this, you can alternate and just march with it. You can hold on for balance if you need to, or work stability at the same time, like Adolfo is doing here. And we'll also show you a variation where you're laying on your back as well. So for that one, when we're laying on the back, you keep the band in the same position around the feet, but we're gonna lay all the way down to the back. And this is more of an isometric, and we are getting a shortened position here. So in this case, we're gonna keep one knee up at that 90-degree angle and then extend the other leg out as far as we can, and then go back down. Nice, so what we're really working here is the hip flexor of the leg that's staying up, and that kneecap is staying pointed towards the ceiling here. Also, if your gym does have a machine for hip flexor training, you're welcome to use that. That's a really great machine to get through that full range of motion, but I know not a lot of people will have access to this type of machine. All right, thanks so much for watching, guys. Adolfo, thanks for being here. We appreciate you. If you guys want to learn, if you guys want to learn more, go ahead and follow Invictus Performance on Instagram. I'll put a link in the description below. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.